third topic in your syllabus is geometry. So I just want to touch on one thing here. Geometry. I just want to touch on one thing here, which is kind of a general approach or general principle of solving for something, right? So let's say here I say you have a sphere and the radius is 10 or 10 centimeters, and then I ask you to find the volume. So even though it's just a simple plug in the number into the formula, I still want to kind of keep in mind of the steps, right? So basically, whenever you see a question like this, start from the answers or start from the whatever they're asking you for. So they're asking you to find the volume. So let's write the formula for the volume, which is should be 4/3 times pi r cubed. Okay, so then now basically you just see what, you just look at this formula and then you ask yourself, okay, what do I have all the information I need to solve for the volume? So volume equals 4/3 times pi, you know what pi is, times r to the power of 3. R is 10 centimeters, you know what r is, so that's fine, right? So then building off the same question, now if I tell you that the diameter of the sphere is 20 centimeters, then again ask you to find the volume. Then in this case, again, you would do the same thing. Don't worry about the question yet. It's only asking you to find the volume, so let's just write down the volume formula, 4/3 pi r cubed. And now we again do the same thing, same steps. Examine if you have all the information you need. 4/3, just a number. Pi, just a number, you know that. R, you don't exactly know what r is, but then you have diameter, which is d, equals 20. So you know r is just d divided by 2, which is, or I can write d divided by 2, which is 10. So then once you have 10, plug that back in here, and then we can solve for it, right? So that's another thing. So then similarly, like I walked you through yesterday, now if I don't tell you anything about this here, and I say the area of this sphere is 400 pi, and then I ask you to find the volume. Again, the same steps follow. The first step, since they're asking us to find the volume, we don't even think about anything else. We just write down the volume formula, pi r cubed. And then we look at this formula and we say, okay, do we have all the information we need? 4/3 is fine. Pi, just a number. R, we don't know what r is. So then now we go back to the information that's given to us. Area equals 400 pi. So we know for sure that we have to use this information to get r. There's nothing else to use, right? So then now naturally you have area, so let's go look for the formula for area, which is 4 pi r squared equals 400 pi. Okay, so then basically now you can see, okay, we need to solve for r, right? We need to solve for r. So now this is like a mini question of the same sort. Do you have all the information you need to solve for r? Yes, you do. So you have 4 pi times r squared equals 400 pi. To solve for r, it's the same, we follow the same pattern or same principle as, you know, when you have 4y equals 8x plus 20, right? To solve for y, you just simply move this 4 over to the other side of the equation and change the sign. So then that's like dividing by 4, right? So 4 moves over, goes from multiplication to dividing. So that's 8x divided by 4 plus 20 divided by 4, right? So now let's go back to our example here. So we want to solve for r. So we have to move this 4 pi over to the other side. So then that's going to become r squared equals, so the 4 pi goes from multiplication to division. So this becomes 400 pi. We just copy this down here. The 4 pi gets moved over, becomes division. So it's divided by 4 pi. So r squared equals, and the pi, you can see whatever that's the same on the top and the bottom, you can just cancel. Exactly the same, that can just cancel. Another way to look at it, you can see that this is pi over pi, right? So it's pi to the power of 1, pi to the power of 1, because there's nothing there, so it's 1. The exponent is 1. So then if you apply the exponent law, this is pi to the power of 1 minus 1 equals to pi to the power of 0. And earlier we said anything besides 0 here, anything to the power of 0 is 1. So that would make this equal to 1. So alternatively, the shortcut, the simple step is just, if you see something, let's say 8, 2. If you see pi on the top, pi on the bottom, exact same thing. They cancel out to 1. If you have 2x, 4x, x can cancel out. Just like that, okay? So now you have 400 divided by 4, right? Because the pi cancel out, we have 400 divided by 4. So r squared is just 100. So now you go to your calculator, and there should be a button here. I think you used it yesterday. That's just like that, a square root sign. If you have to do that. If you don't have to do that, that's fine. So if you do have to do something like this on the exam, then you just use this button, you punch in 100, and then you press this button, you get r equals 10. Okay, so let's revisit this a little bit here. So it doesn't matter which form, what information I give you for the question. We always start with just whatever they're asking for. Asking for volume, don't worry about anything else. First, write down the volume formula. And then with the volume formula written down, let's take a look. Do we have all the information we need? If we have it, we can solve for it. And in this case, if we don't have the information we need, then we look back to the question and see what information they gave us, right? Area they gave us. So then now we move on to a mini question where we have the area and we have to solve for the r, right? And then once we have the r, remember we have to still solve for the volume. So now we go back to the original question, and now we can just simply plug the r into here, and then we can solve for the volume. Okay, so that's just the general procedure for geometric questions.